Please, sir. We apologize, sir. Yes, sir. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, you are all welcome to the groundbreaking ceremony of the National Pathogen Repository for the National Veterinary Research Institute, VOM, supported by the United States government through the Defense Threat Reduction Agency of the US. I would like to recognize some special guests here present. We have the Executive Governor of Plateau State, His Excellency Barrister Caleb Manasseh Muftwang, and members of the Plateau State Executive and Legislative Council. We have this Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Senator Abubakar Kyari, CON, here represented by Alhaji Tanimu, the Director of Planning of the Ministry. Before I continue, I think it is proper we take the national anthem. I will call on those concerned who are now ready to please give us the national anthem. Let's stand for the national anthem. Please, we'll take the United States national anthem. Remain standing. Ed. We apologize for that very last glitch. And that is exactly what this collaboration is about, bridging the gaps. So we hope this collaboration will bridge that gap too. Thank you very much. Please let me recognize our eminent personalities here. The Executive Governor of Plateau State, Barrister Caleb Manasseh Muftwang, and members of the State Executive and Legislative Council. Please, you're welcome, sir. Please recognize him. Yes, that is more like it. I just wanted to say the first round of applause sounded like it was for me, not for the governor. This is the governor of the people. Please recognize him. The Honorable Minister of Agriculture, who is unfortunately absent today, Senator Abubakar Kyari, CON, here represented by Alhaji Ibrahim Tanimu, Director of Planning of the Ministry, who is also accompanied by the Special Assistant to the Minister on Special Duties, Alhaji Musa Abubakar Dongas, here present. You're welcome. His Excellency, Mr. Green, the Charge d'Affaires ad interim of the US Embassy in Abuja, here in Nigeria. You're welcome, sir. Please, let's give him another round of applause. You know, they are the reasons for us being here today. We are not just inviting him here. We are inviting him to see what he is going to do. So please, another round of applause for him. His Royal Majesty, the Bongom Jos, Da Jacob Gyang Buba, here represented by our royal father, the Gwamrwe of Vang District, Da Yang Good Balak. Your Royal Highness, you're welcome. The next on our list is Dr. Ada, let me pronounce it the Nigerian way. Ada Beseti, the Biological Threat Reduction Agent Program. She belongs to that department. It is part of the US program here. You're welcome, ma'am. By calling Ada, even though she belongs to the US, you know where her roots are. You're welcome. Let me call another dignitary here present. He is a quiet gentleman, but he's one of the movers of the department. He is no other person than Professor Garba Hamidu Sharubutu, the Executive Secretary of the Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria. You're welcome, sir. The Director General of NIPS, if he's here, I'm not sure, but whenever he comes, I will recognize him appropriately. The National Veterinary Research Institute is full. When you come into the compound, you see so many buildings, but we have other organizations within. So I would like to recognize and call the major supporters of the NVRI. First, the provost of the Federal College of Animal Health and Production Technology, Dr. Jude Opala, who is here. And the provost of the Federal College of Medical Laboratory Technology, Dr. Chukwu O. Chukwu. Alongside that, I would also like to recognize the presence of a neighbor. He's here in VOM, but not within the compound. He's the provost of the Federal Soil Conservation College here in Nipskuru, Dr. Raji. Please recognize him. Please permit me to recognize just some few heads of parastatals who have sent representatives here. I'll recognize ECOWAS here, represented by Dr. Fuad. Please, you're welcome, sir. I wish to recognize the Chief Veterinary Officer of Nigeria. He is our grand host. We are holding brief for him. He is the one welcoming all of us here. He is here ably represented by Dr. Anzaku. If he is here, you're welcome, sir. I wish to recognize international partners and collaborators, and please permit me, for those I will not mention entirely, do not consider yourself omitted. Just, you are not omitted but committed. You are part of this celebration, and we will do whatever it is to recognize you as the program goes on. I wish to recognize all directors of veterinary services from the 36 states of the country and the Federal Capital Territory. I would like to recognize the Secretary to the Government of Plateau State, Architect Samuel Jato. If you are here, please stand up for recognition. You're welcome, sir. The Honorable Commissioner for Agriculture, who is also partly our host, Plateau State Honorable Bugama Samson Ishaku. Please, you're welcome, sir. In the same vein, I wish to recognize the Commissioner for Information and Communication, Honorable Misa Ibrahim Ashams. Please, you're welcome, sir. I wish to recognize also the former chairman of the NVRI Governing Board, Comrade Barrister Marlin Daniel, and former members here present. You're welcome, sir. I wish to recognize former directors of NVRI VOM in the persons of Professor L.H. Lombin, MFR, and right behind her, Dr. David Shamaki. MFR in progress. Former directors and staff of MVRI, you are all welcome. Too many to be individually recognized, but I recognize you all. Sirs, you are all welcome. Chairmen and heads of national associations in the livestock sector and indeed agricultural sectors here present, you're all welcome. Captains of industries, heads of laboratories, and heads of security services here present. Lastly, permit me to recognize our grand host, who is in the person of Dr. Mariam Muhammad and her management staff. And let me say before you applaud, the reason for her being here today, because this is her initiative. This is her baby. Please give us a round of applause. We were just about to have a dance session. Please allow us to have the cultural troupe entertain us with just one dance to stimulate us into what is going to happen today. The cultural troupe, if you are ready, please, this is your time. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That was an interesting one. I forgot myself. I got carried away. I nearly joined them. Please permit me to recognize here the president of the Nigerian Veterinary Medical Association. You know, this is their establishment. They're supposed to be here. They are ably represented here by the vice president of that association in the person of Dr. Dauda Wala. Please stand up for recognition if you're here. Thank you. You were not omitted. You were only saved for the last. You know, it tastes better when you are the last. Okay. So we move ahead with the program. I will call upon our host, the initiator of this particular activity project with DITRA. This is only one collaboration we're seeing. We have many, many, many more. The United States government has supported Nigeria in many areas, and they are still doing more. You will be glad to know that if all these supports come to fruition at the end, this place will be a much, much better place. And likewise, we have other partners here who have come to see what DITRA is doing. They have been doing, and they will still do more. I am talking about ELPRES, Nigeria. I'm talking about the World Bank, Nigeria. Please give them a round of applause. I wish to call upon Dr. Mariam Mohammed, the Chief Executive of the National Veterinary Research Institute, VOM, to please come and give us her welcome remarks and to tell us what this project, what our gathering here is all about. Ma, you are welcome.
Thank you, Nick. The Executive Governor of Plateau State, Your Excellency Barrister Caleb Manasseh Mutfwang, and members of your cabinet, the Honorable Minister for Agriculture and Food Security, Senator Abubakar Kyari, CON, ably represented by Ibrahim Tanimu, Director of Planning, Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, Your Excellency, Mr. David Green, Chargé d'Affaires ad interim, U.S. Embassy, Abuja, Nigeria. Your Royal Highness, the Bongom Jos, Da Jacob Gambuba, ably represented by the district head of Wang, Da Gyang Balak, Department Chief, Biological Threat Reduction Program, Dr. Ada Bassetti. Welcome. I can see you're in the groove. The Provost of the Federal Colleges of Animal Health and Production Technology, Veterinary and Medical Laboratory Technology, and Federal College of Land Resources, all neighbors in VOM, Chief Executive Officers and Heads of Parastatals, the Chief Veterinary Officer of Nigeria, international partners and collaborators, former Chairman NVRI Governing Board, former executive directors of the National Veterinary Research Institute. Permit me to recognize Professor Lami Hannatulombing, MFR, and Dr. David Shamaki, and to please request you to stand for recognition. Thank you for your work. Thank you for blazing the trail. We stand on the shoulder of giants. Thank you. the LPRES team and the World Bank team here. Welcome to everyone. I'd like to warmly welcome everyone to the National Veterinary Research Institute, VOM. I'd like to start with a presentation, if it is ready, just to cue in and to talk about the partnership that we have with DITRA, fostering and strengthening biosafety and biosecurity in Nigeria. Is it on? So a little bit about NVRI. We sit on about 20,000 hectares of land, generously contributed to the government of Nigeria by the district head of Wang. His grandfather was actually instrumental to contributing this land. And he's here today representing the community that has generously given this land to NVRI. It's not working. Okay. So the history of NVRI cannot be separated from the history of the rinderpest pandemic, which actually instigated the development of the Institute in 1924. On the back of this pandemic, a local vaccine development was begun by the colonial administration. And for the past 100 years, we have sat on this innovative research and development with strong collaborators trying to bridge the last mile and making sure that we maintain the health of our animals and our people. NVRI, if I can get it to work. Okay, so I just wanted to say a little bit about the mandate of the Institute. NVRI has 5 mandate areas. The first one is research into all aspects of animal diseases, their treatment and control, the development and production of animal vaccines, sera, and other biologicals, the surveillance and diagnosis of animal diseases, the production of extension services, and skills and capacity development. So we have 4 key areas. Can someone? Okay. All right. So we have 4 key areas of operations: vaccine manufacturing, laboratory diagnostics, veterinary research and innovation, surveillance and extension services to livestock farmers. NVRI is a part of a network of laboratory diagnostic laboratories. We are the national laboratory recognized for the diagnosis. Could I have an extra? This doesn't work. It doesn't work. It's not, Okay, okay, thank you. My attention has just been drawn that I forgot to recognize my tag team partner, the Executive Secretary of the Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria, Professor Sharubutu. Please stand up for recognition. He has been working behind the scenes, and that's why I forgot you. Sorry. So the NVRI Laboratory Network, as I mentioned, NVRI is the national laboratory for the diagnosis of animal diseases. We are supported by 23 laboratories strategically located around the country. Part of the network, we have veterinary teaching hospitals in 12 universities around the country, the state veterinary services, and also some private clinics and laboratories. NVRI has evolved into a critical national and regional asset through dedication and resilience of support and the support of partners. We provide confirmatory diagnosis of animal and zoonotic disease, and we are the repository for all pathogens of animal origin. So you can see how excited we are that we are having this national repository being built in NVRI because, as I will mention, it will be part of the national assets that we will use to protect human and animals. NVRI is also the designated FAO regional laboratory for highly pathogenic avian influenza and an FAO collaborating center for transboundary animal diseases. We are also the national reference laboratory for antimicrobial resistance, together with a biosafety level 3 facility. We key into the National One Health Laboratory Network, and we are effective in biosafety and biosecurity practices. So the National Repository is actually going to be a very important part of the assets, like I said. The official engagement between DITRA and the Nigerian government began in 2018. Three-phase assessment with federal government entities. We signed the mutually agreed goals with DITRA, between DITRA and BTRP in 2022. And since then, we have experienced a lot of changes in the work that we do around biosafety and biosecurity because of the support that DITRA has provided to NVRI. For NVRI, the main aim of this partnership is to enhance capacities for detection, diagnosis, and the reporting of exceptionally dangerous pathogens within the territory of Nigeria, and also to increase NVRI's capacities to handle pathogens safely, securely, and to store them properly. US-DITRA's partnership will enable us have renovations around our laboratories, biosafety-related upgrades according to WHO standards that include exterior renovations, interior renovations, addressing plumbing, electrical problems in all our laboratory spaces. There will also be the procurement and installation of new laboratory chairs, casework, eye wash, and emergency shower systems in those laboratories. And the laboratories earmarked for renovation include the Central Diagnostic Laboratory, which is just behind us here, the Quality Control Laboratory, the National AMR Reference Laboratory, the Regional Laboratory for Avian Influenza and other transboundary animal diseases. I think DITRA really deserves a bigger clap than that. We're talking about a total of 7 laboratories in all. In addition to that, there will be installation of perimeter fencing around the Central Diagnostic Laboratory and the Pathogen repository with access control throughout. We are also getting waste management, the installation of a new primary incinerator at this location and a secondary one at another location. Our water supply is also being revamped with the design, implementation, and the commissioning of water-relevant deficiency remediation measures. Power supply is also in line to ensure that we have adequate power supply for our laboratories, including solar backup, dedicated generators, and other sustainable solutions to power the activities of our laboratories. Now, specifically to the National Pathogen Repository, for which the foundation laying will take place today. It is designed as a 500-meter square floor area facility. It is 2 levels, furnished with a reception lounge, changing and shower rooms, sample processing laboratories, pathogen storage, offices, and washrooms. The building is designed also to have access control installations all around it. Overall, this intervention will improve the physical security, biosafety, and biosecurity practices to prevent any accidental or intentional release of exceptionally dangerous pathogens. There will be a robust surveillance system to provide early warning of possible disease outbreaks. Let me place on record that NVRI is immensely grateful to the United States government and DITRA, and also the federal government of Nigeria for considering NVRI as part of the federal government's entities that will be benefiting from this intervention from the United States government and DITRA. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Ma, for that overview. Yeah. Would like to proceed with the program. Now, when she spoke about access control, I hope the access control will stop with the laboratory, not beyond the laboratory, because there are a lot of accesses we would like to have. Please permit me to call on the Chief of Biological Threat Reduction Program, Dr. Ada Bassetti, to give her remarks. You're welcome.
Good day, everyone. Thank you so much for having us here today. My name is Dr. Ada Bassetti, Department Chief for the Biological Threat Reduction Program at the U.S. Defense Threat Reduction Agency. And it's an absolute pleasure to be here with all of you at the National Veterinary Research Institute, celebrating the groundbreaking of this new pathogen repository. First, thank you, Director Mary Mohammed and the NVRI leadership. Under your extreme innovation and creativity and your commitment to our partnership today is a success. Thank you all for welcoming me and my team here today. On behalf of DITRA, I would also like to extend a warm thank you to our partner, Rare Africa, and a key thank you to the Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, because without you all, the collaboration and coordination for all of Nigeria couldn't be a success. Now, the Biological Threat Reduction Program began partnering with Nigeria in 2018, and NVRI, as a world leader in veterinary health, is a key collaborator in strengthening biosafety and biosecurity and biosurveillance to detect and prevent outbreaks of high-threat pathogens in Nigeria, in the region, and also the world. I am pleased to be able to share in this groundbreaking. The construction of the repository will enhance already significant work that NVRI conducts, enabling an invaluable retrospective insights into emerging. The effort will ensure operational efficiency to further reduce the risk of widespread outbreaks of diseases caused by high-threat pathogens, such as HPAI, not only in Nigeria. BTRP and DITRA are extremely committed to this cause. We continue to work with national and international partners to confront the ever-increasing burden of highly pathogenic diseases affecting the country and region through effective biopreparedness measures toward the prevention and detection of veterinary and public health threats. Miriam was so thorough in her introduction. I won't go into the extreme specifics of what our collaboration with NVRI is from today and beyond, but we look forward to continuing our collaboration with NVRI to improve and enhance biosafety and biosecurity, building upon the mutually established goals that we created together in 2022. Overall, our partnership goal in Nigeria is to work with our partners to develop and sustain a robust capability that matches our shared commitment to combating zoonotic diseases through trainings, physical security, waste management, and water supply operations. And we look forward to continuing our partnership with NVRI in this regard. I also want to congratulate the Institute on their centennial year of operations. What began as a response to the rinderpest outbreak in the early 20th century has grown into the NVRI that we celebrate here today. An institute with over 100 years of demonstrated excellence in combating animal health outbreaks through research, disease surveillance, diagnostics, and vaccine development and production. We're pleased to be here to celebrate this milestone with you. Before I leave the stage, allow me to thank and recognize Honorable Minister Chiari's colleagues that are here today in his stead, His Excellency, Governor Mufton, to say that as partners, we greatly appreciate the commitment of the government of Nigeria to strengthening biosafety, biosecurity, and biosurveillance on the African continent. Your nation holds an enormous amount of my personal respect for demonstrating that multinational partnerships are the foundation on which global health security stands. So in closing, I want to thank each of your organizations, departments, teams, and the dance troupe for supporting this important endeavor today. We look forward to continue building upon this vital partnership with the NVRI and most importantly, Nigeria, as we continue to save the world. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for those remarks. Your Excellency, Your Royal Highness, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to call on His Excellency, the Chargé d'Affaires ad interim, the United States Embassy in Abuja, Nigeria, to give us his remarks. Your Excellency, you're welcome.
Thank you so much. Well, good morning, or almost good afternoon. It's really an honor to be here, and thank you for the kind and warm welcome. Let me, of course, recognize His Excellency, the Governor of Plateau State. Thank you for your hospitality, for joining us today. The ably represented by his colleagues who are here today. The representative of His Majesty, you're welcome, Your Royal Highness. And NVRI Executive Director, Dr. Mariam, who has been a wonderful hostess, and we're really proud to partner with her and with this institution. My colleagues from Abuja, from Morocco, from Washington, D.C., who have come so far in order to celebrate this occasion with us and to remind us of all why it is so important. Ladies and gentlemen, so many other distinguished guests, colleagues, if you will permit me to stand on existing protocol, I will do so and proceed with my remarks. Thank you. As mentioned, I'm David Green. I am the Chargé d'Affaires, or Acting Ambassador of the United States Embassy in Abuja. And it is absolutely my honor to be here today to have the opportunity to commemorate this milestone achievement, breaking ground for the new pathogen repository here on the campus of NVRI. And again, let me restate my appreciation for NVRI and Dr. Mariam for hosting me, for welcoming me. This is my first time in Plateau, my first time in Jos. And so it's a great honor for me to be able to have this opportunity to visit with all you, to celebrate this occasion and to see a little bit of Plateau with my own eyes. I will try and avoid repeating all the excellent points that have already been made, but I've certainly been in Nigeria long enough to know that this country is the giant of the continent, home to its largest, yes, home to the largest population, the largest democracy, and one of the largest economies in Africa. And Plateau is a big piece of what makes Nigeria so special, what contributes to its greatness. Whether it's the extraordinary economic and agricultural productivity of the state, whether it's the cultural diversity and richness, the natural beauty that it offers, and the cooler weather, which someone like myself from the Northeast United States really appreciates. And it's why Plateau's importance is why the United States does so much here. So before we get back to the subject of today's event in NVRI, I just want to quickly point out among the different kinds of projects that different arms of the United States government are doing here. Plateau is one of 4 focus states for USAID's global food security strategy efforts in Nigeria. We're working with civil society and the government institutions to streamline and strengthen judicial processes, train judges, work with prosecutors, reduce pre-trial detention. We are have a cultural preservation project with the National Museum here in Jos, and a display of some of the historic and very, very important rock art. That's something that we've funded. We are helping to address intercommunal conflict through various USAID programs focused on early warning, peace building, and early response. We are training police to investigate better. We are bringing electricity to some of the communities of Plateau. We've distributed 3 million bed nets recently as well in an effort to address malaria. So I'm very, very proud of this event today, but I think it's also worth pointing out all the many ways in which we are collaborating and cooperating to help make Plateau a more prosperous, secure, and healthy state, and somewhere where all citizens can achieve their fullest aspirations. And so today we're here with the latest phase of this cooperation, the partnership that we're commemorating between NVRI and the U.S. Department of Defense's Threat Reduction Agency, DTRA. One that is critical to advancing global health security. Now, I'm a city boy. Animal husbandry and veterinary care is very far from my areas of expertise as a diplomat. But I think we all know that the impact of zoonotic diseases and animal health and safety is just so important. I was serving in Vietnam 20 years ago when SARS leapt and made its way into humans, and with an extraordinarily high death rate. I've served in the Middle East where MERS has certainly been something to be feared, that pathogens don't respect borders. So not only do they not respect borders, they don't respect species. This is substantiated by some of the examples I just gave and many other diseases that have passed from human to human that were first found in animals, like monkeypox, salmonella, Ebola, and HIV. So that's why the United States partners with countries around the world to build stronger health security capacity. And the ability to prevent, detect, respond to, and recover from new and emerging public health threats and to avert their spread across borders is a shared responsibility, and one the burden of which we are happy to take up jointly with all of you. Our collective COVID-19 experience makes it clear that no one is safe until everyone is safe. So here in Nigeria, the NVRI DTRA project is one of several examples of how we're working together to advance global health security. I don't think I need to tell you that NVRI's position at the nexus of health, agriculture, and environment makes it uniquely positioned to detect, diagnose, and report biothreats. And DTRA's support to the completion of this new state-of-the-art pathogen NVRI is twofold. First is the actual construction of this physical building, complete with waste management, power, and water supply solutions. Second, just as important, actually I think more important, train and capacity building across several areas, such as biosafety and biosecurity practices, to prevent release of dangerous pathogens and to allow for early warning reporting of possible disease outbreaks so we protect the population. You can build all the infrastructure in the world, but if you don't have the trained people to use it effectively, to maintain it, to make sure we're getting the most out of it, then what we're doing is wasting resources. So I'm very proud to see this physical construction go up in the future. I'm still to see us continuing to invest, to see you continuing to invest in going to make something out of it that's going to make us all safer and healthier. So before I close, let me just say, again, express my appreciation to the Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, which is the foundation of a very, very constructive and valuable partnership between Nigeria and the United States on agriculture and food security that goes back decades. And I'm hopeful that our continued collaboration through projects like this will help address the agricultural and food security issues of today. Thank you. And thank you, of course, to His Excellency the Governor and his whole team who have been such exceptional partners. Last but not least, I want to offer my compliments and my congratulations to NVRI on its 100th anniversary. Something I had not learned about until I started preparing for this trip, but something that I'm very excited to be with you to celebrate this year. It's certainly an extraordinary record to be complimented and to be celebrated, and it speaks to the incredible capacity, the richness of Nigeria's history, and the importance of your role in helping keep contributing to food security, contributing to biosafety, stamping out emerging pathogens, and making Nigeria and the world healthier and safer. So thank you very much. I look forward to the rest of today's program, and it's an honor to be with you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Your Excellency, Mr. David Green, for those wonderful remarks. I will just move on. It's getting warmer. We'll try to speed up and get on with the program. I will call on the remarks speech by the Honorable Minister of Agriculture, Senator Abubakar Kyari. I told you earlier he is not here. He is who is the Director of Planning in the ministry. Sir, you are
Not someone. Your Excellency, the Executive Governor of Plateau State, Barrister Caleb Menasa Mafwang, members of the Executive Council and the State Assembly, the Secretary to the Government, His Excellency, Mr. David Green, Charge d'Affaires, Interim United States Embassy, Abuja, His Royal Father, His Royal Highness, Dr. Jacob Jang Buba, represented by the District Head of Wang Dajang Got Blanc, Dr. Ada Betty, Biological Threat Reduction Program, Professor Garba Sharbutu, the Executive Secretary, ARCN, the Director General, National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies, Kuru, the Provost, Federal College of Agriculture, Federal College of Horticulture and Production Technology, the Provost, Federal College of Veterinary Medical Laboratory Technology, Executive Officers and Heads of Parastatals, Chief Veterinary Officer of the Federation, international partners and collaborators, Directors of Veterinary Services of the 36 State and FCT, former Chairman, Governing Board of NVRI, Comrade Barrister Marlene, Daniel, and former members present, former Directors, Chief Executive Officers of NVRI, Professor Lamin Lombim, and Dr. David Shamaki, my colleague from the ministry. Former directors and staff of NAVRV, chairman, heads of parastatals in the livestock sector, civil society groups, captain of industries, heads of private laboratories, my sister, Chief Executive Director, National Veterinary Research Institute, Dr. Mariam Mohammed, Head of Security, present, gentlemen of press, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. Let me first of all extend the apology of the Honorable Minister of Agriculture and Food Security for his inability to be here today due to other official engagement in Abuja. He has asked me to represent him and extend his goodwill message to this occasion. I'm highly honored to deliver this speech today on this auspicious occasion of the centenary celebration of the National Veterinary Research Institute, VOM. I wish to extend a very warm welcome to each one of you to this groundbreaking ceremony for the construction of a new pathogen repository at the National Veterinary Research Institute, VOM, supported by the United States government through the Defense Treaty Reduction Agency. It is heartwarming to note that for the past 100 years, this institute has been at the forefront of research and innovation in the field of veterinary services, playing a crucial role in safeguarding the health of our livestock, public health, and ensuring our nation's food and nutrition security. As the Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, I'm fully aware of the critical role that the veterinary services play in the delivery of animal healthcare services in the country. Through timely and effective control of transboundary animal diseases and agricultural pests, zoonotic diseases, food safety, and animal welfare. The ministry has been supporting services delivery nationwide through the construction of critical veterinary infrastructures, such as animal health centers, live bird markets, rehabilitated abattoirs, slaughterhouses.